Have you ever wondered what it would be like if Kefka from Final Fantasy VI, Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, Squall from Final Fantasy VIII, and Vivi from Final Fantasy IX teamed up to take down enemies from different Final Fantasy games while in space? Oh, you haven't. Well, that kind of ruins my opening, so let's pretend you have. So now your dreams can come true, but with a rhythm-based twist. Theatrhythm Final Bar Line is a celebration of 30 years of iconic Final Fantasy music and characters, all neatly packed into a fantastic rhythm game. It really scratched my Guitar Hero itch, but it's so much more than just a rhythm game. You also build teams of Final Fantasy characters from across generations, assign their abilities, and reap the rewards as they defeat enemies in the background while you hammer away at note triggers from classic Final Fantasy music to get the best score possible. Which isn't always that easy. When you start a song, triggers will approach from the left, and you can press any button as they line up with the trigger marks to hit them. Scoring is based on how accurately you hit the trigger within the frame. And the absolute best outcome you can hope for after finishing a song is to receive an all-critical badge that indicates you hit every single note in the song with essentially perfect timing. However, that is a significant challenge, and holding yourself to that high of a standard early on is madness. You're going to make mistakes and miss time notes throughout a song, probably many times, but that doesn't mean you just give up. There is still plenty of time to quickly rebound from those mistakes and persevere towards success, just like when you make mistakes in your own life. This is what I learned playing Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. Let's be honest, no one likes making mistakes. It can genuinely be one of the worst feelings in the world. Doing something wrong or having a lapse in judgment can fill you with a ton of different emotions, like shame, embarrassment, anger, stress, or even fear. But what you need to recognize is that making mistakes is an inevitability. Sure, you can do things to reduce your chances of making mistakes, but even the most prepared of us will falter from time to time. And that's perfectly normal. Just look at this results screen from a song where I got an SSS rating. It's easy to look at a score like this and think that I didn't make any mistakes. But as you can see, there's still a few misses in there. Think of it this way. There are 385 songs in the standard edition of Final Bar Line, and depending on the difficulty you choose, each song has about 250 notes, also known as triggers, with some songs clearly outpacing that count. So there are roughly 100,000 unique triggers for you to hit in the game. There is absolutely no way you won't make mistakes and miss some of those triggers during a song. I have missed many triggers across my time playing Final Bar Line, especially playing some of the Dissidia series quests. But what's important is not to get caught up on the fact that you made a mistake, especially if you've been doing well up until that point. The absolute worst time to miss a note is when you're having a trigger chain in the hundreds. I get so annoyed and frustrated with myself for missing a note after being on such a hot streak. But here's the thing, you can't just give up after you miss a trigger. You don't have the luxury to linger on your mistake, because the next note is coming, and if you're wallowing in frustration, you're going to set yourself up to make more mistakes and miss the next few triggers coming your way. The mindset you want to have when playing songs in Final Bar Line is to have a short memory when it comes to making mistakes. That trigger you missed, it's in the past now, and you need to spend your energy focusing on how you're going to move forward from it, not the fact that you made a mistake. And that's a great mindset to adopt when it comes to making mistakes in your own life. It's okay that they happen, and it's okay to be upset or annoyed with yourself when you make them. Because remember, that next metaphorical trigger is coming your way, and you can hit that one. Like I said earlier, making mistakes is inevitable. However, that doesn't mean you're free from the consequences of making them. In Final Bar Line, the consequences of making mistakes are pretty minimal. You'll have a lower score, break a trigger chain, and if you make enough mistakes, you may fail the song entirely. On the other hand, making mistakes in real-life situations can have more significant consequences for yourself and others affected by those mistakes. So you need to be ready to learn from your mistakes and take proper actions to address the consequences. When you do ultimately make a mistake, acknowledge it and learn from it so you don't continue to make the same mistakes over and over. Because making the same mistake without trying to correct it is not okay. You can't just go, "Oops, I did it again." You're not Britney Spears. One of the biggest challenges I had when I started playing Final Bar Line was hitting 2 notes at the same time. I could never get the timing down right because I was using my thumb to try and press 2 buttons at the same time. It was annoying, but instead of just accepting my mistakes and continuing to miss notes on every song, I did a little research and found that many people playing Final Bar Line use the bumpers on the top of the controller to hit triggers. That was an absolute game changer for me. I still miss the occasional 2-note pair, but I don't make that mistake nearly as often because I took the time to learn from my mistake and change the way I did things. That's the secret sauce when it comes to making mistakes. It's okay to make them, but being able to acknowledge them and take corrective action is essential for you to learn from them and move forward confidently and competently. Even if you've made a string of mistakes in your own life, you can still recover from them. It may take some time, but just remember that your next note is coming, and hitting it can be the start of your own personal SSS trigger chain. And that's it. If you're willing, it would be great to hear how some of you have learned and recovered from your own mistakes, video game related or otherwise. I always love hearing success stories. If you like what you saw today, I'd love for you to subscribe and come back for the next one. Until then, see you around.